it be amazing. Let it bang. In the mighty name of Jesus.
Dealing with my stress, dealing with your stress, and you know.
Hey guys, it's your girl Imani D. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. They know me on Twitter, but they will know me on YouTube. What is the topic? What is she gonna talk about today? Imani D is always talking about British guys. Why is she always talking about British guys? Shut up. Keep quiet. It's not that deep. Aye ole tonya. Do you know what that means? That means life ain't that deep. Today, do you know what I'm calling this video? Set down one Jackie Chan. Do you know why? Because you guys always want to fight me. And the funniest thing is that I'm the most unserious and animated person. That's one of the reasons why I made this YouTube channel, so that you guys could get to see my tone, see my persona. You guys won't be just huffing and puffing and always trying to fight me. Like, yo, relax, take a chill pill, drink some palm wine, you know. So you guys better get your snacks, you guys better get your chin chin, get your puff puff, get your meat pie, get ready, because today the topic is juicy. I just want to make a disclaimer. There are amazing people from everywhere. There are not so great people. Contrary to popular belief, I do not hate men. In fact, if I hate men, how would I wear my Diola Sego? Please tell me, how will I wear my Beams 24? If I hate men, how will I wear my Ashoke? How will I feature on Bella Naija? Please tell me. Help me answer. I don't hate men, okay? But I like to call out the BS, and that's what I'll always do. Go and get your small chops, because today we're gonna gist. Now, it was the 29th of October 2018. I don't remember it in my head, I crammed it. Now, I'm going to read out the tweet. Also, nobody should come and say, why is she forcing an accent? My parents are Nigerian. They all have Nigerian accents. I've been going to Nigeria since I was 6. This thing is called code switching. So if anybody comes and says, why is she forcing an accent? Me, I'll personally flog you. Now me say so. Anyway, so this was the tweet, okay? Go up in flames. But in my experience, Niger men are way more expressive than black British guys. A Niger guy will call you beautiful 4 times in one combo and tell you he loves you in a month and feel no way. British guys ration their compliments as if the man them are watching. So it got 669 likes and 455 retweets, which isn't even, like, it's not that much like that. But as usual, the tweet did rounds and everybody was shaking, everybody was trembling. Oh my God. So basically, when I wrote that tweet, like, I always say that I wish I did psychology or sociology in university, because I love to study human behavior. So when I made that tweet, I had no agenda. I hadn't even started dating African men, Continental men. I hadn't had no romantic experience with them beyond, darling, you're beautiful, or on the road by uncles. And I tweeted that. Literally what had happened was I started speaking to this Nigerian guy, and like the way he would speak to me was always so pleasant. It was literally about verbal expression. It was nothing to do with Nigerian men are better husbands and fathers than British Nigerian men. It was literally about the verbal. Maybe I could have clarified, but like, you lot act like you're obtuse on purpose anyway. So I remember he always used to speak to me really nice, and like he used to really engage with me, and like he wasn't afraid to say certain things, and I just thought, oh, this is so nice. Us as black Brits, and how stifled we are in our communication and in our expression, and how we struggle with the fear of vulnerability and lots of other different stuff. When I tweeted that I had no agenda, it was more to do with observations and behavioral patterns. Like, obviously we're grown now, and I would hope and pray, Father God in heaven, that guys are not, you know, moving to girls like this anymore. My hands are like severely dry. Oh my God. Yo guys, like, and this is hella ratchet that I'm using my setting spray on my hands, but a girl's got to do what she's got to do. I mean, Hand cream, yeah, but then I have to go all the way up. Back in the day when British guys moved to girls, it's like, oh, in my size, can I chat to you for a minute? You're looking kind of nice still. Tiny, my size. Who is your size? A meat. Do I look like your mates? Your share bear. I'm not your mate. My size call, size my knee, you know? So that's literally how British guys approach women. And it just made me think like, wow, I'm speaking to this Nigerian guy. I don't really know much about him. I don't even know if he's a trash guy, if he's a great person. But I really appreciated how verbally expressive he was. I appreciated how he wasn't scared to say how he felt about me. And it just provoked a discussion in my mind. And I went ahead to tweet it. Now, the responses and the reaction was really, really intriguing. But some of the responses were quite disgusting as well. Disgusting and distasteful. To say the least. But I also wanted to add that we all grew up in London, so we know that anti-African sentiments were prevalent in London. So it was a thing where we used to use terms that are now seen as derogatory, fresh off the boat or freshie. And we all know that, like, some of us that were born here, I hope we're unlearning it or we've done the work to unlearn it. But a lot of us have a superiority complex when it comes to guys or people that are born back home. I can't date a fob. I can't date a freshie. I can't talk to a freshie. I can't deal with a fob. I don't want to date a freshie. And it's just like, sis, just stop it. Like, we've come from that time. We've come from that era. We've come from that environment. So, you know, for me to just acknowledge something that, Niger guys really, like, they're really expressive. But some of the responses really threw me off guard. One of the responses that I was really intriguing and interesting to me was somebody said that British people are some of the least expressive people. Like, they used examples and they compared us to the Japanese and to the Italian, to the Spanish people that talk with their hands, or people that, you know, people that give kisses to each other. But British people, the best word I can describe us as British people is stush. So that combined with our African or Caribbean upbringings that is pretty conservative and pretty reserved, mix that and merge that into the whole stushness of British culture, and then you have this hybrid of people who are stifled in their communication and in their expressiveness. And like, when we're talking about, you know, pursuing a girl or being interested in a girl, it's like, I don't want to seem moist. Yeah, I like this girl. Yeah, I think she's nice, but I don't want her to get too gassed. There was that. I really thought that analysis and that response was super interesting, because yes, like, our upbringing, yes, as much as Nigerians in particular, we're loud and we're out there, quite like, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. And then we've got British people that are quite stush. So I think in a way that has bred a culture of when guys are interested in a girl, they think, I don't want to say too much, I don't want to do too much, as the new word is simp. It's like, another person was like, but African men are compulsive liars and they just say what you want to hear. And I thought that was interesting, because I feel like in the early stages of getting to know somebody, right, it's often, the idea is often perpetuated. We've been taught from young, and I'm sure guys have been taught the opposite, on the other end. We've been taught from young that men are visually stimulated and that women are emotionally stimulated, and we're moved by what we hear. Now, it's a gender stereotype, and I'm not a fan of gender stereotypes, but sometimes stereotypes can be true for a select few, or maybe none at all. There are some women that are indeed emotionally led and led by what they hear. But let's just say it's a stereotype. If as a man you have been taught that by society, and then also that kind of ties into love languages, you know, some people would assume women's number one love language is words of affirmation. All women are different. But let's just say, for example, a man is assuming this. If you know what a woman likes or what a woman wants, if you're presuming that a woman wants to hear that she's gorgeous, or a woman wants to know that she's beautiful, what is wrong with saying the things that you presume a woman wants to hear, since you believe that a woman is led by what she hears? Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's wrong with, in the early stages of trying to get to know someone, trying to make the person feel good or trying to impress the other person. I don't even believe that's a one-way street. So I was just thinking, they say what you want to hear. That is not a determining factor of if the person is going to be a good or a trash partner. the fact remains, if I'm a woman that I love to hear things that will gas me, what's wrong with saying things that will gas me? Hello? If words of affirmation is my number one love language, then when we're talking, there's nothing wrong with you with affirming me. So that was another interesting take. But then it got really, really dark. And I remember some guys, some British Nigerian guys saying, oh, and bear in mind, I was simply talking about verbal expression and verbal communication. And that's how I had some guys saying, oh, go for a Nigerian man, he will beat you. I said, yeah. Go for a Nigerian man, you will stay in the kitchen, you'll be pounding yam. And it's like, okay, I'm not here to invalidate anybody's experience. Domestic violence is no joke, and domestic violence is extremely serious. It should not be treated lightly. God forbid people have grown up seeing that in their households. However, we cannot perpetuate negative stereotypes. Even if domestic abuse is a huge issue within the Nigerian community, we should not be perpetuating the idea that, oh, you know, if you go for a Continental man, he's going to beat you. If you go for a Continental man, 100% going to be a misogynist. And it was crazy because all I literally said is, wow, I really like that these guys are not so stifled with their communication. I believe that was literally the start of what has become an ongoing conversation. And I know you guys are probably wondering, what is my actual belief? Do I really believe that Continental men are better than British men? Now I'm in a position where I've seen British guys and I've seen and dated Continental African men. My experiences are not just my experiences. I experience things through other people. And I feel like my conclusion is, as Brits, we need to get out of that fear of vulnerability. We need to understand that companionship is necessary. It's innate. It's something that God put the desire inside of our heart. You cannot get without giving. You can't have your cake and eat it too. When I initially decided to open up and start dating guys, African men, one thing that I noticed was that I never really had to prove my value, or kind of had to prove that I was worthy, or that I had to prove that I was worthy of certain things or certain treatment. My worth or my value wasn't up for debate. It's really important as women, we don't internalize certain behavior. Your value and your worth is never changing. The fact that somebody doesn't acknowledge or doesn't recognize it is not a reflection on you. Because of the traditional nature of these Continental men, there's just certain things that is just done. Do you know what I mean? Whereas UK guys will sometimes act like they are down for the equality that we're always championing and fighting for, but then they kind of use it against us. Why should I behave like a gentleman? Don't you guys all say you're equal? Basically, I watched this YouTuber, I think she's British, UK based, but shuttles between Nigeria, and she spoke about her shock horror of going to a West End club and seeing that certain women weren't allowed in because of their complexion. Now, I don't want to delve too deeply into this topic because it's really sensitive for me, and I'm sure many other people out there. But what I will say is that the beauty standards in a predominantly white and European country and the beauty standards in a all black country will differ. Now, in no way, shape or form am I saying that colorism in somewhere like Nigeria or West African country or black country doesn't exist. What I'm saying is that the beauty standards do not look like what the beauty standards look like in somewhere like here. So we have the Genevieve Najis, we have the Tiwa Savages, we have the Oluchis, we have the Agbani Darogos, we have the Ini Edos, we have the Mercy Johnsons, and they are all equally considered beautiful. I'm not saying that there aren't colorist Nigerian men, but I have never heard a Nigerian guy say Genevieve isn't beautiful because Tonto DK is more beautiful. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I want to keep it short and sweet, but all I will say is that Georgia Smith is gorgeous, but so is Justin Sky. And Laurie Harvey is beautiful, so is Ryan Destiny. Amber is gorgeous and so is Yawande. My experience with these continental African men is that the beauty standards aren't as rigid and they don't look one way, and that you're also appreciated even if you don't fit into a rigid type of box. Another thing that I've noticed is that because they are traditional and they are in quote chivalrous, it comes with a lot of other things on the flip side. So as much as I do like that about them, it's not always peaches and cream. A great African men, there are great British men, and not so great on each side. It's about finding what works for you, what you like. And I think that as diasporans, we have a duty to not have a superiority complex. We need to unlearn all the toxic things and the self-hating things that we have internalized, because a lot of the negativity that is put out in regards to continental Africans, or if somebody like me, for example, says something positive about African men, the negativity that is responded with is literally self-hate. Our Africanness is part of our identity. It doesn't matter if we're born abroad. The fact that we have maybe better healthcare in some instances, or better resources in some instances, or better education in some instances, it only means we're blessed. It doesn't mean we're better. But it's an interesting conversation, and I feel like, you know, I only want God's best for me. God might say you're gonna end up with a British man. Who am I to say God no? And I want God's best for all of you guys. So never internalize the whole prove your worth, prove your value. You're valuable, you're worthy, you're beautiful, you're everything good thing you think you are. Self-development is key. Work on yourself. Don't let any rubbish anybody, I was going to say rubbish boy, but man, they might be watching my videos, who knows. So don't let any rubbish anybody try and tell you you're not worthy, you're not valuable. Keep doing you. Go to where you are celebrated, not tolerated. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, commenting in advance. Don't forget to do it. I've got so much content planned ahead. So thank you so much for watching. It's been great and it's been fun. Bye.